Queen Mab. I'll not soon forget this storm. It knocked out the electricity, which forced me to rethink the way that I use candlelight. Up until this time, it was mainly for aesthetics. Here I am scooping the wax walls that have built up on the glass sides of this particular candle so that I can get as much light out of it as possible. I've always collected these things, but this time it was very helpful to let them converge and create enough light to illuminate the canvas. I was surprised how much it took. But I felt a little connected to the ancestors and the appreciation they must have felt for simple flames in a dark space. Then the light returned after 2 days. I could turn on my lamp. My work was illuminated. The ink. I like to use the dipping fountain pen, particularly with India ink. It's waterproof, so it'll withstand all the things I'm about to throw at it on this piece. I've always been drawn to this character of Queen Mab, ever since I did Romeo and Juliet in 8th grade. And every time I hear Mercutio's memorable speech wherein he details his experiences of this character, leaving us to wonder how real this is. Is this a dream? Why is he saying this? That's part of the allure, the charm of this particular speech and this character, is all the mystery that enshrouds it. And I have so looked forward to working on this monologue and illustrating it. In the scene in which the monologue appears, it's the 4th scene of the 1st act, so it's still more or less the outset of the play. You're being introduced to these characters. Romeo is forlorn because he is experiencing unrequited love, or he thinks it's love, as a teenage Italian boy who is love-struck over Rosalind, and she doesn't return his love, doesn't give him the time of day, and he's so sad about it. And his good friend Mercutio looks to lift his spirits and begins by telling him this dream he had of Queen Mab. And they're on their way to a party with their gang of friends. Romeo is not really wanting to participate, and Mercutio and he begin to talk of dreams.
Mercutio. I mean, sir, in delay we waste our lights in vain, like lamps by day. Take our good meaning, for our judgment sits 5 times in that ere once in our 5 wits. Romeo. And we mean well in going to this mask, but 'tis no wit to go. Why, may one ask? I dreamed a dream tonight, and so did I. Well, what was yours? That dreamers often lie in bed asleep while they do dream things true. Oh, then I see Queen Mab hath been with you. She is the fairies' midwife, and she comes in shape no bigger than an agate stone, on the forefinger of an alderman. Drawn with a team of little atomies athwart men's noses as they lie asleep. her wagon spokes made of long spiders' legs, the cover of the wings of grasshoppers, the traces of the smallest spider's web, the colors of the moonshine's watery beams, her whip of cricket's bone, the lash of film, her wagoner a small gray-coated gnat, not so big as a round little worm pricked from the lazy finger of a maid. Her chariot is an empty hazelnut made by the joiner squirrel or old grub, time out of mind the fairies' coachmakers, and in this state she gallops, night by night, through lovers' brains, and then they dream of love, or courtiers' knees that dream on curtsies straight, or lawyers' fingers who straight dream on fees, or ladies' lips who straight on kisses dream, which oft the angry Mab with blisters plagues, because their breaths with sweetmeats tainted are. Sometimes she gallops o'er a courtier's nose, and then dreams he of smelling out a suit. And sometime comes she with a tithe pig's tail, tickling a parson's nose as a lie's asleep. Then dreams he of another benefice. Sometime she driveth o'er a soldier's neck, and then dreams he of cutting foreign throats, of breeches, abascados, Spanish blades, of healths 5 fathom deep, and then anon drums in his ear, at which he starts and weeps, and being thus frighted, swears a prayer or two, and sleeps again. This is that very Mab that plats the manes of horses in the night, and bakes the elf locks in the foul sluttish hairs, which once untangled much misfortune bodes. This is the hag, when maids lie on their backs, that presses them and learns them first to bear, making them women of good carriage. This is she! Peace, peace, Mercutio, peace! Thou talk'st of nothing. True, I talk of dreams, which are the children of an idle brain, begot of nothing but vain fantasy, which is as thin of substance as the air, and more inconstant than the wind.
It was wonderful after all these years of seeing this play or this monologue, being haunted by it, and going, I want to revisit that. I don't know how to finally do that in many ways. And not least of which was finding the visual story of Queen Mab as I feel it, not as I literally hear the words and see every little image. I think that ultimately there's something that is really stirring Mercutio's blood about Queen Mab. And it could be a dream that he had that night where everything is still raw and he's still sensitive to it. Or it could be that it's based on an experience that actually happened to him. No doubt at the hands of a woman, because we are in the world of Romeo and Juliet, where there is young love, and these men, these Italian men that are in the flower of their youth, are feeling all this passion. And I wouldn't be surprised if the thing that really works up Mercutio at the end is some personal experience that he had. It's not some totally lofty, altruistic, or, for lack of a better term, bleeding heart sensibility. He's really troubled by something, because it specifically pertains to women who, as soon as they start enjoying pleasure for the first time, get pregnant and suddenly have that hard lesson of reality. And this works him up so much. It's too juicy to ignore that somehow a young maiden who enjoys lovemaking and then gets pregnant almost right away, it produces such pain and frustration in Mercutio that Romeo feels compelled to cut him off and soothe him. And then Mercutio responds with this feeling of, yeah, it's nothing. This came from, it was just a vain fantasy. It could be. We've gotten this wonderful portrait of a haunted man that Shakespeare's painted in Mercutio at the beginning of this play. This little Februfairy challenge that I do each month, wherein I devote the month of February to painting subjects in the fairy, fae core world with the art of coffee stains, and in this case some acrylic, to really bring a little bit of order in the shadows and light of this piece. I enjoy delving into the tales that inspired this being or that creature, and it was certainly customary, if I was including Queen Mab in Februfairy this year, to go and research her origins, and she's a tricky one. There's so many different cultures and stories that have figures that could have contributed to Shakespeare's haunting, transportive tale, that she comes off so amalgamated of all these different possibilities that she just seems to be a very original character birthed from this play. And she could be a queen, like Queen Maeve of Irish folklore, where she was exquisitely beautiful, all her people respected her, woe to any man who did not. Or she could be a mysterious lady of the night, as some scholars have theorized Shakespeare was basing her off of. That she seems to live in this place between kindling love and breaking hearts, and that place between dreams and reality. If you meet Queen Mab, I hope that the encounter is a pleasant one. I pray that it is.